Good evening, everyone. We have 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. For all those who can't join me in the allegiance, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So moving through the agenda at this time, we'll open the floor to public comment. For those who have signed in, please step to the podium, state your name. This is for residents and taxpayers only. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Be courteous and stay on point. First up, we have Frederick Bueller.
My name is Frederick Bueller. I live in Pine Valley Estates, Valley Drive, Harmony, PA. I'm fairly new to the community, but my only issue here is I see where there's a possibility of a revival for the property line to extend Pine Valley Estates. And I'd like to know why or how, when they can't supply water 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, for the 57 families that live there out of 75 lots, because that's what number I have. They have 7 brand new ones, 2 used ones that are reconditioned, and 3 more that could be reconditioned, and 2 empty lots on my lane alone, Valley Drive. So I don't see why they would need a reason to extend it when they can't fill or sell what they got, and they can't feed water to the people. And that's about all I got to say. I'll wait and hear what you all have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, we have Rebecca Hartzell.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Hartzell, and I live at 121 Valley Drive in Pine Valley Estates. And my question is basically the same as Fred's. I'd like to know how they can even pass the permit to extend the trailer park when they cannot supply water. We were just without water again for 4 days, and they ended up giving us a case of water for 4 days. We tried to text them or call them, they do not reply back to you. And I just would like to know how they can get a grant to extend it once again when they can't supply water to us. There's families in there with little ones, 7-month-old. How do you bathe the babies? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Sylvia Wack.
I decided not to. I will write something to the supervisor.
Thank you, Sylvia. All right, moving through the agenda, item number 3, administrative business. Approve the minutes from the January 19th, 2025 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
I second the motion.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is bills to pay list, circulated this morning from January 17th, 2026 through today. That's totaling $172,017.17. The majority of that was $97,000 was for the repairs to West Lancaster Road, which I think $84,000 was covered by insurance, if I'm not correct.
86.
I'll make a motion to approve if we can discuss after we have a second.
I second the motion.
So, I know I've asked you this question, and I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with all the details of the actual bills that we receive per month. I can pull it up on the screen, but I'm not gonna bore everybody with it. There's a lot of information I don't understand. Barb and I have spoken about this. She's been fantastic at providing information and putting it together for us. But I would like to suggest possibly supervisor workshop where we can go over with ourselves, Barb, and anybody else involved, and the residents, of course, understand these monthly bills that we're gonna make a move to approve. that be okay?
Correct. So look, one of the reasons we brought Barb on 90 days ago, 100 days ago, and as we go through the agenda, elevate her level, is to do just that, provide more visibility.
Okay. Would it be possible though to schedule,
Yes.
like workshops? Okay.
We'll call it like an agenda prep and a workshop regarding those things.
Okay, thank you. Call for the vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Statement by the chair. So we did have several executive sessions. When I say several, there was a total of 6. January 23rd, January 28th, January 31st, February 2nd, February 9th, February 12th. Most of those were centered around hiring a new township manager, and we'll go through this later in the agenda. So we identified candidates, we interviewed candidates, and we ran a process to evaluate the talent of those candidates. There were some discussions around bringing on a treasury, secretary treasurer, which we'll go through later today, which will be Barb. We did talk about a third-party interim zoning, floodplain, interim company. Obviously, Sylvia left the same time that Mary did, the end of January. So we're looking into that possibility in addition to bringing on somebody temporarily. And we have also talked amongst ourselves as Board of Supervisors on committees, or call it liaisons, where we are the point of contact for various departments in the organization. For instance, Mike will hire or handle Public Works, Rich will handle the police department, I'll handle the front office and finance. We might rotate those positions every 6 months, 9 months, a year. We haven't decided yet. Additionally, we would oversee the boards, Park Board, the Planning Commission, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some of the things we talked about in our executive session.
Okay, I'll make a motion. Oh, that's not a motion.
That's just a statement.
Thank you.
So moving on to Township Manager. Again, as I outlined, we had 3 viable candidates, people with municipal experience. We narrowed it down to 1 person, that's Bonnie Forsythe, who's with us today. We're gonna let her speak later, but in this meeting, our goal is to approve her as the new Township Manager.
All right, I make a motion to hire and appoint Bonnie Forsythe as township.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Move to appoint Bonnie as the Open Records Officer.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Move to appoint Barb as Treasury Secretary and Secretary Treasurer.
I'll make a motion with agreement to have some discussion on this.
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment that, first of all, Barb's been phenomenal to work with. She's really saved the day on us, really helped in this transition period. And we believe we discussed, and I think it's fair to share with the residents, that we're going to attempt to bring in all our bookkeeping under Barb. And so we won't be paying for that outsourced, and as well as bringing in payroll. Again, relieving that cost to the residents of outsourcing. So just want to add that.
So look, I've been in the, I'll interject here, and I was gonna do this in the manager, or the supervisor report. Barb's tremendous. She stood up, I don't know, in November, and she gave her credentials. Obviously, in a transition period like this, we need to make payroll, not financially, just to make sure people get paid on time, right?
Yes.
We were on, Shirley, Barb and I were on the phone with Paychecks, our third party, for 3 days. And finally, I picked up the phone, I said, look, we gotta make payroll by Thursday at 5 o'clock. And these 2 gals stepped up and made sure it got done. Not only get done, it got done accurately, there was no errors to my knowledge.
Me neither. Yeah, I don't know of any.
So
there's a reason we're elevating Barb to this position, so I just want to add that.
Thank you.
Take a vote.
Should I call for it? Okay, yes, I vote yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Old business, there's nothing. New business. Approve resolution 2026-6 for our meeting procedures and protocols.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-6.
I'll second that with request for some discussion.
Correct. Mike, you want to outline this change?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up here.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna pull this up on the display. We did, make some changes to the current meeting protocols from when they were 2017. It's gonna take me a bit, sorry. Unless you have a document and pull up. I wanna put it on the display. Sorry, guys. I should have just pulled it up here. Here we go. Okay, so here's resolution 2026-06. I'm just gonna run down the list real quick and I'll read them off. If you have any questions or comments, I guess, let me know. But this is what we're voting on to approve. We're gonna, first of all, repeal the prior meeting protocols, and then we're gonna approve these. So there'll be at least one public comment period designated for public comment at each Board of Supervisors meeting. Most of these, item number 2 is pretty much the same. 3 is the same. Number 4, when a resident or taxpayer, you record your address in a sign-in sheet. When you get up to speak, you don't have to state your address. You just have to state that you're a resident. Let's see here. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes. We're asking everybody to silence electronic devices or put them on vibrate, as well as, refrain from talking during the meeting or have your phones on so that it disrupts the meeting. We're asking all attendees to remain courteous and refrain from public displays such as clapping, cheering, or comments when another person is speaking. There shall be no disruptive behavior, but audience members or speakers will not be removed unless there's an actual and serious disruption. And here's the big thing: a 3 strikes rule will be applied for meeting disruptions. The board recognizes the public's right to comment and also the board's authority to maintain order. A speaker or member of the audience who is determined by the chair to be disrupting the meeting will receive a warning. Upon a 3rd consecutive warning, the speaker or audience member will be directed to yield the floor and may be removed from the meeting to allow the board to continue its business in an orderly fashion. Everything else is pretty much the same as what we have. So those are the highlights. I just want to go over those before we vote to approve.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. So that leads to the repeal of the old resolution 2023-1.
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
We'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Resolution 2026-7. This is approving the ratification of guarantee agreement between the Butler County General Authority, Army Fire District, West Banco, and the member of those municipalities. So this revolves around the COG and the fire department that we just built. Rich, I'm going to ask, well,
Yeah, I'm happy to. You want me to explain it?
if you could.
I'm gonna try the microphone because I don't speak loud, but.
We'll see if it works. Does it work?
Yes.
So when we built the fire district, it was funded by a group of communities called the COG, which is the Council of Governments. It's Lancaster, Zillionople, Harmony, Jackson, and really it's a mechanism that we can use those communities to try to pool our resources, so things like the fire department cost less for each individual community. So the new firehouse auxiliary was funded primarily through 2 grants. One was through the state, and one was through, who's the other one through? So the federal government came through, and that was to the tune totally of like $2.8 billion. The federal government came through with their 1.5 million-ish amount. The state, unfortunately, has been a little bit slower in funding that grant to the municipalities. So what happened is West Banco made the loan to the COG, the Community of Governments, and the note came due last October. Unfortunately, without the state grant, we were in default of that loan. West Banco graciously extended that note through April 26th, I believe, of this year. So what that means is that the Harmony Fire District is shouldering the burden of the interest payments in that time, which is about $6,000 a month, until such time that the state grant comes through. Our local representatives are aware. They're in Harrisburg. They are doing everything they can to accelerate that process. But at the end of the day, all we're doing here is we are signing paperwork that allows West Banco to extend when that note comes due. So there's really no cost or anything to the community. That's basically it.
Michelle, if you don't mind, he explained it well.
Rich explained it perfectly, no, he took my thunder, so no, that was perfect. We're just ratifying with the extension, means all the membering communities have to adopt a resolution saying they're in agreement with the extension, and of course we are, so, yeah.
And look, I'll add this, we do believe the grant is coming through, or else in West Banco did too, or they wouldn't extend it.
Yeah, correct. My understanding as well is all that Lancaster is ultimately on the hook for, if that grant didn't come through, and it will, is for the same millage that we're already paying for the fire department. So there's really no downside to the township either.
Do we have a motion and a second for that?
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to other business, there's none. Additional business under item 7, planning, land use and zoning. We need to address, this is a lot line revision, right, Tom?
Correct.
So Pine Valley, you've obviously heard from this.
I'm the surveyor on that. If you have any questions, you want me to speak on that?
I'll let the board of supervisors ask those questions.
Tom, I'll pull a picture up, can you tell me where to go as far as what line revision is? I'm gonna get you a laser there, okay? Or I guess a surveyor can. You wanna show us where the lot line revision is?
All right.
That's okay.
The old lot line is right here. Okay, so there's basically in the deed there was described a couple lots, and they're 2 separate tax parcel owners. Now they contacted me. Their intention was to move this line to the west, so these maintenance buildings were all on the mobile home property lot. So originally the line kind of went straight up the High Acres Road, and then when I did the field survey, I discovered some utilities out here as well, and that's the reason that this juts out like this here.
Did you say wells?
Wells, water wells?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are they active?
First question we're gonna ask.
Do you know, I know you're the surveyor, are they active wells? or-
They appear to be active, yes.
Okay.
They appear to be newer pipes, good condition, good cap on.
Okay. They might be the ones serving the community though, right?
Yeah, I have no idea,
Yeah,
I have no
sorry.
idea about the utilities, they just contacted me to do the boundary survey and adjust the line.
So were the wells not on the original?
They were not, they were originally on this, parcel number 1.
Okay.
And the line was here, so everything was over here. This is just, you can't really see, but this is all wooded over here.
Okay.
It was probably logged a couple years ago, maybe. It's just, so it's like lightly wooded, and it's completely empty.
Okay.
So with the leaky section, you know, of these, wells that were up by the road.
Interesting. I'm guessing none of the residents know if there's, what the plans are. Are these wells being used?
That is like a big question.
I don't think they're producing water, sir.
Okay, just asking. I mean, I know I'm so.
I heard there was like 11 or 10, and they're down to 2, and they've been getting water trucked in, but when they don't call ahead to get the water, or when we got that 2 foot of snow, the truck couldn't get in, so we ran out of water.
Yeah, just so you guys know, the intention is not to, as far as I know, to expand the mobile home park.
Okay.
It was just to bring everything in compliance, so it's all in one lot. I've worked with them in the past, I've done several parks for them in other areas. They're typically, all they want is the mobile home lot. If they had extra land, I divide it up for them.
Okay.
So this is something they've done in the past, so.
So they're not building on lot 1?
I don't know their intentions, but, as far as I know.
How come they're telling you one story and telling us another?
I just moving the line, that's,
Yeah.
they hired me.
Yeah.
If you move the line on.
That logging was just 6 months ago.
Okay.
Was it 6? Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't.
it was just over the
6
fall.
months ago.
I was
It wasn't
there
2
in-
years ago.
Okay, well, I was there in the summer and it was locked, so.
Remember, he's just a surveyor. He doesn't.
Yeah, I know.
He's the messenger, go out.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, Pine Valley Estates in Butler County is not the only trailer court right now that does not have water.
We know that.
Yeah, no,
There
we're aware
are
of that.
several. There's 5 right now.
And Tom did have me put a note on the plan that this doesn't mean that, what was the wording of the note?
It says, a note should be added to the plan indicating that no additional mobile home pads lots will be installed on lot 2.
Correct, I added the note to the plan, and R2 mobile home park lot is a conditional use, it's not a use by right. So if they wanna add more, pads or trailer parks, they have to get it permitted regardless. So moving the line isn't going to affect, as far as I understand.
This is a lot line revision. We're not approving putting it on.
Correct.
Yeah, just to clarify, so we're not allowing them to build any more lots. They would have to approach us. Tommy, is that correct, to add lots?
Correct.
So at that point in time, if you see them doing that, I would encourage you and all your neighbors to come. Make a public comment, but at this point in time, all we're doing is changing the lot. Actually, who knows, it may help you, I don't know. If those wells are active and they weren't on the property, and none of it could be used, I would think you would know. Yeah, John?
Question, the remaining 2 parcel of ground that they're taking the property off of, is there any, perk test, or do they not, aren't they required, Tom, to do
Yes,
perk
they
test?
would be, yeah.
Tom?
If it's septic,
Generally speaking, if it's over 10 acres, they're exempt.
that's only if you owned the property prior to 1976.
So,
How long they?
Yeah, that's a good
They've
point.
only done it for about 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been,
No.
Yeah,
That
actually,
exemption's only if you've owned it prior to 1976.
Yeah, and they have, I mean, the DEP is on in there constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly, and then they leave us use water for 2 days,
Right.
and then tell us to boil water.
I'm just saying, anybody else.
No, actually, the next plan we're looking at is we're actually gonna talk about the exact same thing. They're doing
They should
2
have
non-building lots that we have to do a
septic.
primary, but not a secondary.
Do they have to come to you for approval for the zoning thing?
Well, it wouldn't be a zoning, it would be additional lots.
Additional lots.
They have to come to you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So right now, you're gonna put a no on that so that they don't get away with it, right?
Well, they're actually putting a note on the deed, right?
They
Is
already
that what you're-
did.
They already did.
This
We
is
asked
the
those,
way you listen to anybody.
we asked those questions prior to this.
And we do appreciate your input, John, that's a good point though. I mean, I think you're right. I think we have to,
we can make that as a condition that they
Right.
do have, provide a perk test for the particular.
without a replacement site there, right?
Correct.
We can do it without a replacement site.
Right.
Okay, I'd like to amend the motion. Oh, wait, yeah, we have a motion.
We have a motion.
So I'm gonna make a motion to amend the motion that we place a contingency of adding a primary septic site to the remaining lot that I guess we would say.
And the secondary might have to have a secondary.
No, it does not have to have a
Does not.
secondary now.
Does not.
If it's a non-built, yeah, it does not. Actually, you'll hear that in the next one we're gonna be talking about.
Yeah, I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. So this moves on to agenda item 7, number 2, MM&L Family Trust Subdivision. They're asking for a non-building waivers. Look, I'm gonna defer to you right away, Tom. We've been through this the last week.
Yeah, they are asking for a 2-lot subdivision, and as part of that, they're requesting that 2 of the lots that they're creating have non-building waivers placed on those lots. Per your ordinance, essentially that is not required, I guess not allowed or permitted. If they were larger sites that were agricultural in use, there's a potential they could go to DEP and get a waiver for those. In this case, they're not ones in the floodplain, and we would recommend that you either table this for them to get those perk tests done, or you deny the plan until those things are done. But I'd say at this point, you probably just want to table it to give them the opportunity to have perk tests done on the sites themselves.
Sounds good. I'd make a motion to table this until they get their first test.
I'll second that motion, but just some additional discussion if you don't mind. Can you show me where on here, or can you tell me which of the 2 lots that they're trying to cut out?
Sure, the far left, right where your cursor is lot 5.
Okay,
It's between the borderline, and to the right of that is the little conquenessing stream.
okay,
And then across the road is lot 4.
okay, yeah, they do say both non-building lots, okay.
And again, I understand that they're not intending to build on it today, but by creating those lots, essentially they're creating a buildable lot that somebody may buy down the road and have an issue with. So we'd recommend that those perk tests be done, and that would be their option to do those or come back to you and withdraw the plan or whatever the case may be.
And so the recommendation is just a primary site and not a replacement site?
They are only required by the ordinance to do a primary site for each.
Okay.
Can we make this contingent upon them getting those, and then it goes through without having to come back here?
The downside is if they don't do anything, you have to take action. So I'd rather give them just a tabling, and that way, if next month they don't come forward, then you would deny the plan, so it doesn't automatically get approved.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll take a vote.
Yes, the table?
We'll table it.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion carries unanimously. Building permits, the number issued in the month of January was 2. I'm just gonna give a quick recap for what it's worth. In 2022, we had 177 building permits. 2023, 195. 2024, 179. 2015, 115. 2025, 115. But look, I think there's a lot of things on the horizon. I think we're gonna see an uptick in these numbers, but just wanted to recap that for you all. So we'll move on through the agenda to reports. Supervisor report. Mike, we'll start with you.
Sure. That's fine. This is just a very busy time for us. It was enjoyable working with the other supervisors. We've made a lot of changes, I think, if you can see. Hopefully, one of the things was trying to make information more visible, and so you can hear us. Hopefully, you can hear us. So, but I like some of the things Greg covered. We decided to, create liaisons with supervisors where there's a supervisor over each group. Hopefully that works out well. We discussed about like Barb hiring her and bringing in accounting, saving the taxpayers some money. Went through a bunch of other things, but I'm not going to bore you with it. But it was a very enjoyable 2 weeks. Spent a lot of time, and I think Greg and I calculated we make about 50 cents an hour. So
74.
74. I'm sorry. I know we spent for as much time as we spent here the last 2 weeks. Okay, 70. That's all.
Rich?
I don't have a lot to add. It has been busy interviewing manager candidates. Met with the road department, the police chief. We've had a group of executive sessions to make sure we're covering everything we need to. really don't have anything to add outside of what we covered in the meeting.
So I have my bullet points, this is high level, so we did spend a lot of time, the three of us, identifying candidates for replacement for township manager, interviewing those candidates and selecting a new township manager. I've been spending about 4 to 5 hours every day in the office to ensure, I'll call it business continuity. My motto is do no harm, but look, we need to make sure payroll got paid timely and accurately. Barb and Shirley were rock stars there. We need to make sure our bills get paid, right? Things fall through the cracks when we have a transition. I think we did all of that. Barb and I and Shirley sat with Narduso for 2 days. They were in our office for the annual audit for 2025. We made sure we answered their questions. We made sure they had all the documentation that we had. They did come back with some questions, and it was a litany of emails, and I just said, hey, how about you come in the office and we meet face to face rather than all these emails, which I suggested times for this week. We met with 3 different companies for like an interim manager, which we don't need, but maybe we need an interim zoning and floodplain administrator. I've reached out to 3 different companies. This would be the likes of John Trent we had to pass. He's not first and foremost on my list, I'll just say that. We have other companies that we've talked to, and we're gonna wait till we bring the new manager on board to assess where we need to go with that. I met with PennDOT one day this week, or 2 weeks ago, just to go over a review of 2025 road projects that were completed and what do we need to do in 2026. So these are the big ticket items. The next 2 weeks before Bonnie starts on March the 3rd, I'll continue to be in the office about 4 or 5 hours a day just to make sure we have business continuity, support the employees, and just make sure day-to-day business gets done. So that completes the manager's report. We'll move on to returns report. Michelle?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to add to my written report.
Okay, thank you. Manager's report. Bonnie, welcome on board.
Hi, I can project. I was in chorus and took vocal lessons, so hopefully you can all hear me. But my name is Bonnie Forsythe. I have been in the municipal world for about 10 years. And when the supervisors asked if I would like to introduce myself to you, I thought that's great because I hope you will all come and introduce yourselves to me. I want to learn about you, probably as much as you want to learn about me and what I'm going to do here. So just a little bit of background. I grew up in Butler. I lived in Butler my whole life except for 1 year when I lived in Kent, Ohio, and 3.5 years when I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And let me tell you, the snow that we've had recently made me question why I ever moved back. Growing up, I grew up with my grandparents. My grandparents were farmers. They moved to this area when my grandfather took a job with Raymond Construction. He was a foreman building railroad cars. And so I grew up learning how to do everything yourself. You don't just call up someone to do something. You learn how to do it, or you call a friend, you call a neighbor. And I feel like that's what this community does. And so I want you to know that while I don't currently live here, I would like you to think of me as a new neighbor, because I want to try to help where I can, provide you with the information, the clarity, the transparency I think a lot of you are looking for. And I want to hear what you have to say, what you have to tell me. So that's pretty much where I'm at. If you have questions, once I'm installed in the office, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you, Bonnie. And that date is Monday, March 2nd. Don't inundate her at 8 o'clock Monday morning.
Legal clerk.
Yes.
Thank you, Bonnie. Moving on to planning commission. Dave.
I'm Dave Carlson with the Planning Commission. This is the first time we've had a seat at the table here. Board of Supervisors asked if we'd like to, come up and give a monthly report. I thought that would be a good idea. Just for this meeting, I'll give you some background on what we do, and I'll come forward with what we've been working on. So the Planning Commission has 2 meetings per month normally. The last Tuesday of the month is our official meeting. That's where we vote on things. That's where we review plans and proposals that come in from developers, things like that. We're an advisory group. We do not approve anything. We can only recommend to the supervisors whether we think this meets our ordinances, it meets our codes, if it's in line with what citizens and everybody wants, or perhaps it's out of bounds with what we can approve. We'll let them know. But we don't approve anything. As time allows, we work on our ordinance updates. Our working meetings are the first Monday of each month. It's a lot less formal. There's no voting, nothing really. We don't officially recommend anything. Those meetings are intended for us to work and update the ordinances. We can't fit it all into our regular meetings, so we've added a second meeting to do that. That's where we read through the ordinances as a group. We find if there's any deficiencies, anything that needs updated. A lot of our ordinances are 10, 15, 20 years old. They never anticipated the kind of development that we think is going to come in over the next 10 years, so we're updating those to kind of come more in line with what some of the surrounding townships and areas have done. I think it'll protect us all better than what's there now, because there aren't a lot of regulations and ordinances that restrict things that we can go for. So that's what we're working on. The public's permitted to attend our working sessions and our regular meetings. Encouraged to attend if you'd like. You can also catch them on the YouTube channel because they're all recorded. So what we're working on is subdivision land, the SALDO, it's the subdivision land development ordinances, PRD, which is the planned residential development, and also the zoning ordinance. They all tie together because one references the other and the other one references back to the other one. So we're working on them individually, but once we get them all drafted, we're going to have to compare and contrast to make sure there's no conflicting information in there. We've also recently been working on data centers. There's been a concern of folks that a lot of data centers coming in around this area. We want to make sure if they're coming, we have rules and restrictions in place to make them neighborhood friendly. I'll just leave it at that. We've also been working on a recreational vehicle park ordinance. If somebody wants to start an RV park or something along those lines, again, we're going to have an ordinance that they follow rather than not have anything and have them just come in and develop whatever they want in line with the current ordinances, which really doesn't restrict much. So those kind of things are what we're working on, and that's about all I have.
Dave, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Moving on to the administrative report, Shirley.
Just things, I try to do what I can to help whoever I need to do. And I know you spent hours with paychecks. I spent a full hour on the phone.
But you got it done.
Well, hey, I wasn't gonna let him get away with that. We had too much at stake.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm dealing with the additional challenges every day to the transition. So we're working through that. So I'm getting used to it. This is my third administrator in 3 years. So, but yeah, and putting the packet together for the meetings, there was a change in that on how to do it. It took me about 6 to 8 hours to do the meeting minutes. So, and keep in mind, I only work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So
She did work Friday.
Well,
graciously.
yeah, no biggie. I do what I have to do. Right? I try. It seems that I have in the last week or two completed some building permits. There were 3 solar building permits, so they'll be up on the February. People installing solar panels on their house. I had no right to knows. And then I do like lien letters too, which when a house is sold, either the title company or the finance company will reach out to make sure that we don't have any municipal liens on that property. So I have to do a letter. I try to do them as soon as I receive them because I don't want to hold up the closing of the sale of the property. So that's about it.
Can I just add this? I've sat in the office for 2 weeks. Shirley is the face of Lancaster.
I try. Hey, I like it here. I
She
really
got
do.
phone calls about a mailbox that was hit, that wasn't really hit, the snow hit, right?
Yeah.
We had a call, somebody had a horse that was sick, they couldn't get in their driveway. We had a call, somebody was getting a load of fuel oil, they couldn't get in their drive. I mean, it was constant barrage of calls she takes in addition to doing her job.
I try to do what I can to make sure that the residents are happy and they get the results that they want. Sometimes it's not, you don't get the result that you want, but you'll get an honest answer.
We get an honest answer. That was my point. So, thank you, Cheryl. Engineer's report, Tom.
The only thing I have is just an inkling that there's a multimodal grant application that's starting in March, runs till July for road improvements. Generally speaking, the township has pursued that in the past and has received funding. Whether or not you want to pursue that again and or which roads and or maybe tie with another township to do a multi-project to get a better grasp on funding is just something to consider over the next couple of months. But generally speaking, the regulations and the requirements aren't too much. You just need a resolution, cost data, stuff like that we can put together once you identify a project if you want to pursue it.
Mr. Chairman.
Have we ever done a multimodal?
We do every year, right?
You've done
We
it
do every year.
probably 4 times. You've received funding, I think in 24 for Dulles Road, you get about 230,000.
Okay.
So.
Tom and I talked about this Friday. You know, what we get versus what we ask for is a big, can be a big delta, a big gap. So,
And what's the cutoff date?
It's the end of July, so you do
Okay.
have time. But again, generally speaking, if it's a road project, you'll get PennDOT involved to get your cost data. And again, if you want to join with another township to do part of the road and they do the other part of the road, that may help your chances of getting funding if you can. So that's something to consider. But generally, if you're going to meet with PennDOT and Ed, you can sit down and maybe come up with a couple of projects to consider.
Hey Tom, what's our contribution to that funding?
Generally speaking, it's 30%. Is assuming that they give you everything that you ask for, it's a 30% match, irregardless of what it is.
So keep in mind, if we do a road, most of the time it's $1 million, we still have to come up with $330,000 to do that road. They'll only give us $700,000 of that, which is good, but we still have to come up with the difference in the money. But that's something we talked about as well.
all right, thanks, Tom. Police report, Mike.
So obviously, we're tied up on an incident, so I was late, so I didn't muster up any notes. So obviously, everything's the same as far as status, as far as all the calls.
I would add this, you think about the inclement weather and you think about the road crew, but Mike's guys, right, put it that way, they are in touch with Ed's group every day, right? 4 o'clock in the morning, they'll text Ed or Ed's crew and say, hey, look, the roads are bad, or this road's bad. So there's a constant communication between these two groups to make sure the roads are safe for our residents, and the plowed, and there's a lot that Mike and his team do behind the scenes that we don't see. So, and we talked about this the other day, Mike, right? You're often first responder.
Yes.
First and foremost. So thank you for all you do.
So Mike actually was prepared to do this report, and he forwarded it to me last week. I guess I gotta use the microphone. And I wasn't really prepared to go through it, but since Mike doesn't have it, just in the month of January, kind of Greg's point, they responded to 14 medical calls here in the community. The Harmony Fire District and EMS are a little bit further away, but these guys they're ready to get into their car, and they're often the first people who show up at your house. They let me know that they've all used their defibrillators over the last couple of years when they show up for folks who are in cardiac arrest. So they're doing a lot more out there than just writing citations. And I just wanted to point that out since you didn't have access to your information. There's a ton of other stuff in here. There's thousands.
Narcan.
Narcan. Just
So where are we living?
Yeah, total calls for January for them were 169. So they're working hard.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah.
Okay, road crew. Ed, been a busy month.
Yeah, we spent most of our month in the plow trucks. We only had 9 call outs though for snow. I would have thought it'd been a lot more, but 6 minor repairs for the trucks, along with the routine maintenance that goes with all the truck use. We have 2 cylinders out to be repaired for the grader. We ran it a couple days and didn't want to waste any more hydraulic fluid, so we did a couple cylinders replaced. We did put the 2026 pave projects out for bid. I met with multiple contractors to estimate and measure these roads. We opened the bids on February 11th, and as of now, Russell Standard won our bid for 2026.
And that was through the COG.
Yep.
Just so everybody's aware, that was a bid that was submitted to the COG. We had 3 bids, they were the lowest, and that's what we'll go with this year.
Yep. They were 20,000 less than the other 2. So.
Anything else?
That's it.
Mr. Chairman, can you explain what the COG is for those who might not know?
Yeah, so the COG it's actually it's called the Southwestern Conference of Governments. So it is, I'm a member, I had a meeting last week. It's Lancaster Township, Jackson Township, Harmony Borough, Zaley Borough.
That's it for that one.
That's it.
That's it for that one.
Okay. So when we go out to bid, there's more volume of road work to be done, right? So we get a better price. And then we do other things, well, it's like the oversight of the Harmony Fire Department. And now, moving forward, it'll be over, Harmony EMS too. So it's just, we're bringing together the communities that we border for leverage.
It'll also benefit us whenever we do like crack seal. If we rent the machine, it's cheaper to rent it for the month. If we only need it for 2 weeks and they need it for 2 weeks, we split it, and then it saves us a little money.
That works with the salt purchases as well, doesn't it? Or do you just buy that through CoStar?
It's through CoStars, so
Okay.
it doesn't really change anything.
Okay. Is there any benefit to that? Obviously, you would look into it.
So what's that? 5 through
CoStar is
CoStars?
like a COG, but bigger, right?
Everybody's always used.
It's like, that's like a CoStar's, probably know better than. That's a guaranteed
You don't have
price.
to put it up to
State
bid, right?
contract.
all
It's a
through the-
guaranteed price. They can't charge you more. Whether it's a vehicle, salt, the price is fixed every year.
And they can limit, if you don't go through CoStars, they can limit how much they give you.
Correct.
They can kind of screw you in the end.
Okay, thanks for that, Steve. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, Barb, I don't want to put you on the spot. Anything you want to add? We don't have a financial report. I know you're.
I'll reiterate what you spoke about earlier, where after the transition period and things can maybe return back to normal, I'm gonna work with the supervisors and with Bonnie, trying to make things a little more clear, make it easier for the financial reports to be understood. Everything looks really good, other than maybe a few adjustments, but just to make it more easier for us to understand and see and limit the questions and bring it all to the forefront. So everybody will know, just to include more details.
Improve visibility.
Yes, I'm sorry I run out of words this late at night.
I put you on the spot.
You did, yes, but that's okay. And again, I want to reiterate again, if anybody ever has any questions, I'm here 8:30 to 4:30 every day. Please stop in. I'd be happy to talk to anyone, answer any questions, explain anything that you might be confused on, just stop in.
Gentlemen, anything to add?
Nothing to add.
Thanks to Deb for cleaning the place up. We had a little bit of a roof incident.
We did.
And she worked hard, but it looked pretty bad in here the other day. So, good job, Deb. Thank you.
All right, with that said, that we've gone through the agenda, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously. Probably drive careful, everyone.